Black Ops 6 beta just dropped, which means there's a bunch of new settings, so I got y'all with the best settings so you can actually compete against all the unemployed sweaties on the game, which these settings are going to apply to console and PC. So I use an Xbox Elite V2 controller, pretty basic controller, but it allows me to have the paddles on the back, which then allows me to have very good aim as well as good movement. In this game, movement is a big part of it. If you can take advantage of it, you can really dominate the map, so the paddles are very beneficial. If you don't have paddles, you could go down here and add bumper jumper tactical. It's going to allow you to jump with the bumper, and then you can drop shot with the right stick. And then if you don't want to do that, you could just play claw, so then you have your pointer finger hitting these buttons, and then that allows you to keep your thumb on the joystick. Now for the next up thing, stick layout preset, keep that on default. With these sensitivities, keep it on like 6.6 or 7.7. Some players do like to increase it. You can basically get used to any sensitivity. This is more for your consistency of your centering. Now white down the center of your screen, you need to make sure that is where an enemy could be, so then all you have to do is ADS and fire. You don't want to have to like ADS and drag over then fire. A lower sense allows you to have more consistent centering. Next up, for the simplified controls, just keep that on off. Low motor strain off, bumper ping off. It's a little bit personal preference, you can have that on if you want. For this, you can swap the bumpers with the triggers, allowing you to actually click a button rather than pulling down a trigger. I have trigger locks, so the second I hit my trigger, it is going to register on the game, so I don't need to do that. Controller vibration off. It's going to be a little bit weird if you have it on, then you take it on off, but once you're used to it, it's so much better, since less things shaking in your hands should lead to better aim. Dead zone inputs, this one you actually is very important. So left stick min, if I have mine on 0, my guy's gonna automatically walk forward, so I just increase it to 1, which stops that. Left stick max, if you have it on 100, you have to move the stick from like 0 all the way to 100 if you want to get to max movement speed. If you have it on 50, you only need to move it halfway to get to max movement speed. Most players will keep it between like 45 and 75. For me, I really like 50. Right stick bin, even if I have 0 stick drift, I'll still keep it on 5, because if I have it like too low, I'm gonna start like overcompensating on my recoil control. Some players do increase it to like up to 10. After 10, I just would get a new controller, or just, you know, just suffer with a little bit of stick drift. Overall though, most players should do perfectly fine with 5. Right stick max 99, left trigger, right trigger 0, so that's like the second you hit the trigger or the bumper, it's gonna fire the gun. Sensitivity multiplier, I like to have mine on 0.85. Some players might like 0.9. Again, you can get used to any sensitivity, so don't really think about it too much. This is just for like consistency. Look inversion standard, aiming advanced settings. Just keep this on everything default in here. Oh, aim response curve type dynamic. This is just going to allow you to flick onto targets a little bit more consistently. If there's 2 between them, it's going to be easier to hit both targets. And then custom sensitivity per zoom, you guys can copy all this if you want. ADS sensitivity transition, timing instant. Target aim assist, obviously you want that on. Motion sensor behavior off. For the movement tab, I like to have my sprint assist on. This is going to make it so if I push my left stick forward, he's going to automatically start to sprint. And then if I want to attack sprint, all I have to do is click the left stick once. If I have it on tactical sprint assist, the second I move the left stick forward, he's going to automatically tactical sprint. I don't really like that because your sprint to fire speed then is a little bit slower. If I'm sprinting and I see someone tactical sprinting, I'm going to be able to bring up my gun faster than they can. Therefore, it actually helps me win so many more gunfights. And then if you have it on off, you have to like click the left stick once to sprint, and then click the left stick twice if you want to attack sprint. And then you actually can do a little bit of a show more tab on here. You want to make sure this is on 0, just makes it so there's no delay at all. Sprint assist sideways on, and sprint assist backwards on. Again, a little bit more personal preference, but I do believe on is going to be the best one. Mantle assist off, crouch assist off, automatic airborne mantle on, and then yeah. Oh no, you want that on off. All like the mantle type stuff, you want that on off. Slide / dive behavior, you want this on hybrid. This is going to allow you to be able to, you know, dolphin dive if you hold the left stick, or you can slide and it's going to register them very quickly. If you run any of the other ones, you're going to see how the game feels very like delayed. Like for a bit, I had mine on tap to slide. The slides feel so delayed, it's horrible. So just have it on slide only, and then if you want to be able to dolphin dive, have it on hybrid. Auto door peek off, unless you really want that on, but I like to be able to control when things happen on the game. Movement advanced settings. Sprint / tactical behavior toggle, auto move forward off, grounded mantle off, sprint restore on, slide maintain sprint on, tactical sprint behavior single tap sprint, plunging underwater trigger, sprinting door bash on. Oh, actually free for the plunging underwater, my bad on that one. Vehicle enhanced settings, this stuff doesn't really matter at all. I just like to keep that on off, and then free look. Now for the combat settings, so ADS sight behavior hold, weapon mount activation ADS plus melee, quick C4 detonation grouped, equipment behavior hold, manual fire behavior press, combat advanced settings, change D-pad, up behavior, ping. A lot of this stuff, just so you know, is personal preference. You might like something a little bit different, so I do recommend you guys to go through here, read this stuff, and just find the ones that you would like. This is just what I personally have been using on the game. Overlay advanced settings, off, and then hold. Now that's going to wrap it up for the controller. Let's go over to the graphics. If you're just playing the game full screen, exclusives better. For me, I'm like streaming and things, so I need to use my other monitors a bunch, so I like full screen borderless. Display monitor, personal thing. Aspect ratio automatic. Display gamma CPU RGB. Display gamma 2.2 sRGB. Brightness monitor specific. Eco mode preset custom. VSync menus off. Custom frame limit custom. I like to have my menu at like 60 so my PC doesn't really run harder than it needs to in the menus, and then in game, you know, 250. Menu render resolution native. Pause game rendering off. Focus mode 0. High dynamic range off. Now for the quality, so a lot of the stuff, just so you know, is to maximize your FPS and still have a little bit of quality within the game so you can actually see the enemies. Render resolutions keep down 100. Dynamic resolution off. Upscale sharpening. Fidelity is going to make the game look so much better. I like to have mine on 100. Some players like to have it on like 50, so completely up to you, but most players do like 100. Texture resolution, normal is going to be the best for most people. I have a 4090 in my PC, and it just makes the videos look better, so I like to have mine on high. Texture filter anextrophic if you want more FPS low. For me, I want the game to look better a little bit, so I got high. Depth of field, make sure that's on off. This is insanely game changer. Nearby level of detail low. Particle resolution very low. Bullet impacts on. You'll have more FPS if you have it on off, but when I'm testing recoil patterns for guns, and I like to have that on. Persistent effects off. Shader quality low. Ornament texture streaming minimal. I know I said that horribly. Local texture streaming quality low. Shadow quality very low. Screen space shadows high. If you don't care about how your gun looks, just keep it on off. You'll have better, more FPS on the game. Screen space, ambient lighting, ultra. For me, actually, no, I have that on off. My bad on that. Some of these things reset for some reason. Screen space reflections high. Again, if you want more FPS and you don't care how the gun camos look, make sure that's on low or off. Static reflection quality low. Tessellation off. Volumetric quality low. Deferred physics quality off. Weather grid volumes off. Water quality off. Now we're going to be going over to the view settings. Motion reduction off. Field of view, I like to have mine on like 115 or 120 if I'm playing pubs. In ranked play and things, which isn't out on the game, I lower it down to like 100 because it makes the targets a little bit bigger. You have a little bit more aim assist. The game is so much more consistent, easier to play. A lot of the pro players will run around 100 for a reason, but on pubs, it's kind of fun to have a higher one. It just feels like you're moving around a little bit faster. ADS field of view affected. Weapon field of view wide. Vehicle field of view wide. Motion blur always on off. The game looks horrible with that on. I'm surprised by default that's on. First person camera movement least. Inverted flashbang on. This is going to make it so instead of your screen turning white when you get flashbang, it's going to turn black instead. Sometimes it does seem like your monitor turned off, so just keep that in mind. And then for the volumes, again, personal preference types things, but if you want to copy my stuff, there you guys go. Audio mix, I like the headphones. Some people like the home theater or the bass boost. Up to you though. I just, do better with headphones. I think you actually can. Oh, on the last Call of Duty, you actually could test it out. That sucks that it's not there anymore. And then stereo for the speaker output, mono audio off, mute game when minimize off, a hip marker preset. Now for the voice chat, again, personal preference for all these things. You guys can go through and copy all of this stuff if you please to do so. If you guys do find this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button. And if you want to pre-order the best Black Ops 6 settings when the game comes out, and the best glass setups right now, then hit the subscribe button with the noties on. I'll be making a bunch of videos. So for the interface settings, these ones are actually very important. So menu prompts, controller, obviously since I'm on controller, copy all of this stuff on here if you want. Telemetry, this is why I like to show the FPS server and the packet loss. And then I'm actually gonna turn I'll have that on. That's a little bit helpful at times. For the readability, we have that off. Copy all of this stuff on there. Color customization, actually very important, so put it on custom. And then so my colors are a little bit different. By default, you have this on red. The purple to me is a little bit easier to see. The human eye though picks up yellow first and like orange, which is why you see all like those signs when you're driving around. But it's though like those colors kind of blend in with the background, so that's why I like the pink. It kind of blends in. I mean, it kind of pops more. And then so for all of these colors, I'll actually max out the saturation and the brightness, and then I'll apply it. And so all of these, you can max out the color on there with the saturation and the brightness. And then color filter 2 is going to make everything pop the most, as well as having the color filter target on both. And then you just want to max these out to 100. And then for the gameplay HUD, I have my HUD preset, so you can go over here and you actually can move things around. For me, I am still looking for like the one that I really like. I noticed myself, you know, switching things around a lot. I just know that I like to have the mini map on like a square instead of the circle, because the circle kind of cuts off the corner, so it's nice to have that square on there. My cat just took a shit and it stinks so bad. I'm like breathing it all in. Okay, for the HUD balance, I have this more in. Oh my god. And then for the minimap shape, I like to have mine on square, minimap rotation on, radar on, compass type, minimap. Actually, compass, you can have that on off. It doesn't really help you. Vehicle HUD prompts fade after 10 seconds. In-game text chat on, player names abbreviated. If you have it on full name, that also helps. Icon only is very hard to see the enemies. Hit marker visuals on, damage based hit markers on. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Deuces.